towards him. Okay, so he shoots low single on my right leg, jam, slide. And it'll be all kind of one motion in a match. It'll be just kind of getting just a little chip of his shoulder. Jam, slide. And see what happens when I jam a little bit? It kind of pushes his butt back towards his heels. That's what I want. I don't want him coming forward and circling and collecting. I know where he wants to go. So I'm going to jam the shoulder, slide, dive, and turn away from my lead leg or back into him. Right there. Notice, feet are coming back up under me. I'm ready to wrestle. Worst case scenario, we end up back on our feet dancing. I dodged a bullet. All right? We're going to talk about a lot of ways to put this guy in trouble. Okay? Whether it's just getting a takedown or putting him on his back. So one more time. Low single. I got to beat the head first. Two things I always got to beat: head and drive leg. If he's using his head and drive leg, I'm in trouble. So I got to beat the head. Okay, step one, I'm sliding outside the shoulder. Then as I dive over the top, it doesn't matter if he circles or not, because the drive leg's not there anymore for him to circle and collect my legs. Then we'll start attacking his ankles, and we'll get a re-attack. But for right now, I want you to just dive straight over the top. I want that foot fired off, and I want you stretching out, turning in. Okay? Diving as far as I can over the top. The harder I dive, the bigger rip I get when I'm pulling my foot out. Questions? Anybody need to see it again? The right side. Now, as I dive over the top, I want my chest always facing the mat. Some of you guys started out cartwheeling. I don't want to cartwheel. I want to be more like a superhero. Giant superhero panther cat diving over the top. So I'm going to jam. I'm going to slide. Now, when I fire off this back foot, my far hand's going far ankle. Again, like I said, I got to take care of head and drive leg. So when we beat the shoulder, we're beating the head. Now we got to attack the far ankle, and we're getting the drive leg. Now when I come over the top, I'm not going to be able to hold on to this just with one hand. Second hand's got to come to it, so I want you to think about it. I'm just going to chop this foot off with my hands. Okay, as I pull it out, boom. Second hand comes to it. And like I said, you guys are well trained. Get your hands above the knees and start climbing the rope. Because we know, as expert scramblers at the end of the day tomorrow, I want to be higher or lower on his leg in a scramble. Do I want to be higher where he's less flexible or lower where he's more flexible? Higher. So I know what I got to do to win the scramble. And what you'll find out, and what you probably found out watching him, because he's pretty doggone good at scrambling, is guys know about two moves deep. Once you get about 3 or 4 moves deep in a scramble, most guys are just like, Coach, I don't even know what to do anymore. I was hoping for a stalemate, but I'm in some deep water now. So what we got to do is we got to make sure we can go 20 layers deep. All right? When this guy wants to go 2, that starts getting real ugly for him. Okay? So again, shoulder low, hands above the knees. I'm finishing a normal single leg climbing the rope. So low single, I'm going to jam, slide, straight over, not away. I don't want you to dive to the ankle either. I want you to dive straight over, following his spine. Jam, slide, dive. My hand goes and gets the foot. Okay? Turn in. 2 hands to it, climb the rope. Every rep, don't stop here. Get your hand above the knee, find that far leg reach, drive that butt down to the mat. Okay? We don't want to just score a takedown. We want to score a takedown and put them flat, just like you would if you were flaring out a double. All right? Low single, jam, beat the head. Beat the shoulder, slide outside, dive over the top, there the drive leg. Notice my knees and feet are under me, 2 hands to the leg, climb the rope, drive them down. Now don't take a side step. One thing good low single guys are very highly capable of is adjusting, okay? If you ever wrestle like a good low single guy, they'll adjust to a bunch of different positions we give them. So if I just kind of sidestep, he's just going to pop his head up or run the corner. There's a couple different options here, all right? The biggest thing is, the 2 things I got to cover is what? Head and drive leg. So when I take this angle step, I want to take this angle step and cover his head. Now if you'll notice, you'll see a lot of guys, and I'm not saying they're wrong, angle step and let their knee and toe point to the ceiling. All right, when my knee and toe are pointed to the ceiling, my leg's pretty light right here. He'll be able to pick it up a lot of times. When I turn my knee and toe the direction of his spine and flex my quad, it makes my leg like 10 times as heavy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take an angle step but we're not just going to take an ankle step and cover his head. The same side of my leg that he's attacking, that hand is going to attack his hip. And again, I'm trying to beat his head by taking my ankle step, and I'm trying to take his drive leg away by hip pulling. All right, so I'm going to take an angle step, and I'm going to pull the hip at the same time. So when I get to this position, see how he's on 2 knees now? All right, and I got him paused right here. Now he's not going to stay there for long because, like I said, good low single guys, you see what he was doing? He was changing his knees. Now he's just going to change his knees and try to elevate with his outside foot up. Knowing that, I've got to make sure this is a quick transaction. So he's gonna low single. I'm going to angle step. I'm trying to crunch everything back towards that drive leg, so I'm hip pulling. Lastly, I'm going to bring my heel to my butt. I'm going to do a leg curl. I'm going to do a leg curl and arch my back. So as I angle step and hip pull, I'm going to leg curl. Boom. See, I'm bringing my heel up to my butt. Notice I talked about putting his elbows behind his ears a second ago. So as I'm pulling this hip and curling my leg, that's going to give me the opportunity to run the corner. I'm pulling this hard. I want him on his hip. This is one of the most unathletic positions you can put a wrestler in, is wrestling off their hip. Okay, especially with not a lot of feet traction in the mat. So low single, angle step, not side step, hip pull, leg curl. Feet are under me, chest and head are up. I'm still attacking the hip. I like my options right here to score. They might square up and circle. All right, we just wrestle through that position. And the more we wrestle those positions, the better off we're going to be. Come on, somebody else so you can see. Come on. Jordan Williams. All right, angle step, hip pull. This is the hip. That's armpit. Those are ribs. Okay, I want to pull the hip, angle step. And notice I'm stepping out. I'm kind of reaching with my body like a penetration step. Here, a knee driving. Heels coming to my butt. And I'm pivoting on my knee as I'm continuing to pull the hip. Okay, halfway fast. Low single, angle step, hip pull rib. And see, the harder they hang on, the more it stretches them out, puts them out of whack on their leg attack. Alright, so a lot of you guys know a leg pass, like funk roll, whatever people are calling it. Technically, we're passing a leg and we're looking to elevate or control the leg. Then we can duck ankles, alright, which is basically a hybrid, like halfway between a leg pass and like halfway through a leg pass. Ankle ducks, leg passes, and then sit and splits, which you guys watch a lot of Penn State wrestling. You'll see these guys like sit up and split. Yanni's really good in those positions, sitting up and splitting. You've got some guys that are really, really good at scrambling, and we'll go over those positions. But the core re-attacks are leg passes, ankle ducks, and sitting and splitting. And we'll get through a handful of these in this low single position. So he's in on this low single. I'm going to take the angle step. I'm going to get the hip pull. Now, sometimes we don't get the ankle rip, so we end up in this position. That's why I kind of wanted you guys to really drive and focus on getting your chest over this leg right here. Because once we get to this position, we're going to bring our outside hand to the sole. Now, the reason we attack the sole is because he's going to try to circle and get around this angle right here on the low single. If I got his sole, once his foot gets outside his hip, he's not near as flexible anymore. If I just drop to his hamstring right here, he can still get a pretty good angle because he can get his heels up under his butt and stretch me out. You'll see this position a lot. If I attack the sole first, he can only circle so far. All right? Now, I'm going to attack the sole, and my hip pull hand is going to swim up under to the hamstring. I got two hands to the leg. Notice my knee is up under my chest, which is important. If my knee's way back here, I'd never be able to lift this leg up. All right, it's kind of like if you walked in trying to do a deadlift and your butt was way behind the bar. Okay, so I got to get everything up under my body. Attack the sole so he can't circle. Swim up under to the hamstring. Lift. Okay, I'm going to punch, bend to the elbow, bend to the knee. Okay, punch right here, bend to the elbow, bend to the knee, and then my opposite hand's coming back to the armpit. And I'm just going to drop down to my butt, and I'm going to take him straight over my leg. Now, as soon as he gets upside down, I'm going to slap the mat. Notice my head and chest stayed up the entire time. When I get here, I'm going to bring my heels to my butt, and I'm just going to circle and try to get both arms in between his legs. Okay? Both arms in between the legs. So, low single, angle step, hip pull. Attack the sole, swim up under to the hamstring. Okay, lift, punch, bend to bend. All right, then I'm going to crunch them down. I'm going to take them straight over their head, slap the mat, heels to my butt, circle, both arms in between. If you guys have ever done any type of jiu-jitsu, you guys know both arms either in or both arms either out. All right, you just stick one in there, it's trouble. All right, one more time. Angle step, hip pull, back to sole. Swim inside to the hamstring, lift. And when I lift, see how that weight's going down towards his head? If I stay here and I'm low, he's going to start picking my leg up. And again, we know it's a battle of more feet in the mat. He's winning now. So I got to get my foot back in the mat. Lift, punch, crunch. Take them over, slap the mat, heels to your butt, circle both arms in right here. And just wrestle that position. Can you see it? Yeah. All right, how are you? He's going to beat me. He's going to get height right here before I get this leg up in the air. So we got to make sure it's about the crunch. You know, somebody was just talking to Spencer about, like, that's one thing that we forget or we're taught poorly when we're learning how to defend baseline is hips are always in attacking, legs go away. It's not everything away. So if he's in on a single leg, man, my hips are in. My legs are attacking into him. My hips are attacking him, my legs are going away. Right? This takes away all his power right here. If I'm just kind of hanging out and there's no crunch, he's going to expand. He's got to expand to build, right? He's got to expand to split in the middle. He's got to expand to drive up and build to his feet on a high cross, single, double, right? So we want to crunch them in a tight ball to where they can't expand. Now, using that philosophy, same thing. We're angle step, we're hip pulling, we're crunching. Now, when we get to the crunch this time, we're just going to go bend to the elbow, bend to the knee on the mat, and then I'm just going to grab my hand over the top. I just got a body cradle. But what I want to do is I want to work my top elbow all the way down to his armpit. Does everybody see that? Now that I got my elbow down to the armpit, I'm not worried so much about knee and toe to the ceiling because I got that weight towards his head. And then as I start kind of crunching this weight towards his head, I can just change to my normal cradle. Everybody see how I got this cradle now? Now I'm going to take him straight over his head like we just did. Okay? But I'm going to finish a little bit different. When I get to this position, I always won't bend to the elbow, bend to the knee, because if not, I'll lose the cradle. If I slide up towards the hamstring or anything like that, I'll lose him. What are the two body parts he needs to bridge? Head and his feet, right? So I'm going to take my elbow that's behind his head, and I'm going to raise it to the ceiling, and I'm going to curl up and put my belt buckle on the back of his head. This doesn't look like it's very controlled, but it is. Get off your back, Spence. That's a tough position, okay? And I'm trying to keep my lock right here on the jawbone, okay? Just as an added little encouragement for him to not fight me, okay? So angle step, hip pull. Don't forget the hip pull crunch. Then I'm going right here. What I don't want you to get in the habit of doing is when we get this low single, is dropping straight down, okay? See the difference in angles? If I go right here, he's going to split me every time. These low single guys are going to split me every time. So I got an angle step, hip pull. I got crunch first. Crunch and control. Bend to the elbow, bend to the knee, grab over the top. Now start working towards the front. Top elbow in the armpit. Once I got him crunched down, then I can switch. Okay? Once I switch, straight over the head. Nice and slow. And once I get him straight over the head, curl up, curl up, curl up. If I don't get my fall here, then we can go through this whole routine right here and get back on top and scoop the leg and get the knee outside the ribs, all that good stuff. But I want you to take your time with it so we can execute and get the fall. All right? As you can see it. So angle step, hip pull, crunch. Right here. See, my chest is getting back in this area. Not way over here. And I'm not on top, not draping. Draping's not good. Okay? Right here, crunch. The elbow bend the knee, good luck. Wiggle up, get that elbow in the armpit first. Then change to your cradle. Straight over the head. This position right here. Make sure the bend of the elbow is still in the bend of the knee. Elevate the head. Put your belt buckle on the back of his neck. And bring your elbows to your ribs. You should be able to get a fall right there. If you don't, then hip ice on top. It's the actual art of pinning somebody. We work with people on their back all the time. But think about how many guys you put on your back in your career and how many guys you put on your back and you pin them. Right? Like that percentage should be like 90%. Anytime I put a guy on his back, I pin him. Like, and if it's not, then, man, look at college wrestling. There's not like guys that put on their back and they get off, right? They get put on their back in a serious situation, it's over, right? So when we get a guy on the back, we gotta be like a dog on a bone. We gotta finish him. So he shoots this low single, ankle step, hip pull. We're doing a good job of getting, and you can come to this way too. You can lift the leg, punch, and then crunch down to your cradle. So we can go both ways. We were just going body cradle to kind of secure that height that he's trying to get, then crunching them down, then changing to my normal cradle. Now, a lot of times we'll take them over, and as we're taking them over, they'll flop to their hip. You know those guys that are professional at fighting off their backs. We've all wrestled those guys. So we get this position, this guy just gets super wide on me, and we're just trying to drive and hoist, and this guy's just made out of rubber, and it's not working. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep our cradle. And one thing I've watched a lot of people show cradles before. This little part of my thumb right here, this bone of my thumb, I'm always trying to lock my cradle, whether it's gable grip or whether it's a finger lock right here. I'm trying to work that towards the jawbone, just because it limits their ability to move and bridge. So as I get to this position, I'm trying to keep my lock up here by the jawbone. Whether you got a finger lock or that palm lock. I'm going to put my head, my forehead right in the crease of the hip. All right? Because guys will get wide here and I'll never be able to hoist them up. So I'm going to get to this position right here and I'm going to tripod up. Everything's nice and tight. I'm going to go over the top, doing like a front handspring, but I'm going to bring him with me. My body doesn't go first and he goes second. Everything goes at one time. Hop it over to my bridge. Now I'm back in the same position. Curl back up. Get your points. If you need to adjust to get your fall on top, then you can. Now when I adjust to get on top, the second thing that kills us when we hip heist on top is this guy's knee poking me in the chest. And I mop the mat with this guy, trying to get this shoulder down while this knee's poking me in the chest. All I need to do is raise my chest up and let that knee pop outside his ribs. Once that knee pops outside his ribs, then I'm easy sandbag down, nice and tight with my lock. If for some reason he gets a little blood cut off to his brain, then that's on him, right? As long as I got a legal lock, that's not my fault. Okay, ankle step, hip pull, crunch. I can attack the sole and swim under, or I can get to my body cradle and cinch it up. We get to this position right here. Or sometimes we might just get a little anxious and drive into his hip right here. Okay, no big deal. Just get your lock tight. Cinch it up towards his jawline. Get that head in the hip crease. Tripod up. Front head spring over. Lift the head. Curl your belt buckle up around his head. Right here. And then you can go through that whole process of hoist. Misdirection is more of a weight shift from one side to the other. And you'll see guys make it look real smooth and some guys not. Alright, or somebody's be more literal about misdirection. In this case, we're going to be real literal about misdirection. We're going to go far side, hip pull, and try to crunch them. And right when we get to that knee, we're going to immediately go to the opposite side. Now, one thing that you got to understand when you're scrambling is, just like with wrestling, I'm trying to stay 27 moves ahead of this guy, right? I'm always trying to know what's next and how I beat him to the next position. With scrambling, the benefit of you knowing a lot more is, most guys don't know a ton. Alright, so if we hit them quick and we know exactly where we're going, we'll catch these guys with their pants down a lot of times. So he's going to be low single, and we're going to go far side, hip pull, and right when I get that crunch, I'm going to go back to my near side and attack the far ankle. Now it's going to look like a lot of work to get out of this position, but again, we're doing a couple things. We're establishing skills and tendencies and getting more comfortable and not just straight up sprawl positions, and we're also using real sound scramble technique to score here. So I'm going to go angle step, hip pull. I got it on both knees. Notice, when I go angle step, hip pull, turn. When I go angle step, hip pull, and I've had a couple guys ask the question, can I sit on my heel? I've got on a couple guys about being on their butt. This just shouldn't feel good at all. I'm trying to keep toe in the mat. I'm way more athletic here than I am with laces flat. Now this isn't wrong. I'm minimizing my mobility. So if I get this toe in the mat, I can change directions a lot easier. So I'm going to go angle step, hip pull, crunch. Notice my toes in the mat. I'm immediately pulling the hip, and then I'm coming back to the near side. Okay? So I'm just shifting them. Get on your feet. So when guys shoot low singles, the minute I feel like I'm getting crunched, angle step hip pull, the minute I feel like I'm getting crunched, good low single guys are going to change knees. All right? So the minute I feel crunched here, right when they get ready to change knees and we're coming to the back side here, he's going back to the front side and attacking that ankle, I'm raising up into nothing. Okay? But again, start out slow. You're going far side, then near side. And the better you get at changing, shifting, and attacking, the more this guy's going to be like, I don't know which way to turn. I don't know what to do. Okay, so low single, we're going angle, step, hip pull. Don't just go to the side because we're about to come back. I want you to crunch. This is important. We got to get him on 2 knees. So angle, step, hip pull, then I'm coming back over the top. Boom, right here. Same thing. 2 hands to it, climbing the rope, driving down. Every time. Okay, all right? So you can see it. So we're just combining 2 skills. Low single, I'm going angle, step, hip, pull. That's super important. As soon as my knee contacts with the mat over there, I'm going right back to the opposite side and I'm tacking far ankle. So angle, step, hip, pull, and then this hand's just going to come right to it as I'm coming over the top. Boom, right here. Right back to the ankle. 2 hands to it, climb that rope, put them flat on the mat. Questions? All right, it looks like a long way to go to get to it. I'm going to dive between the legs, and I'm going to hook to the left side. Partner's just going to fall over top of me. Now, as I start to turn towards my left, towards the side I got hooked, bring your knee up. See, I'm blocking his knee. That starts to help me build a little bit of height, but it also keeps my knee up under my chest so I'm pretty strong right here. Now, as I drive into him, I'm going to cross grab with my free hand at the sock, knuckles on top, and I'm going to post, and I'm going to start working my butt towards his head. I'm not turning and looking at it. Alright? I'm just crowding this position right here. Putting his foot over his face. Now, this is one of the more important things that you need to realize about scrambling. This is where height makes a difference. I got to get more feet in the mat first, and then I want to get one or both of their feet in the air, but I want to put it over their head. Okay? I'll show you a little experiment real quick. Just stay right there. Belly down. Okay? Watch what happens when I put his foot over his head. Where'd he go? To his back. Okay, magic trick. Anytime you're in a scramble and you're lost, find one of their feet, put it up in the air, and get it near their head. Right? It'll put them in trouble. Big deal in college now, right? With the danger rule. Okay? You used to have guys who would just go to danger and just hang on for stalemate. Dean Howell's probably one of the best at it. Right? Now it's problems, which I think is a real good adjustment. People thought it was going to kill scrambling. It made guys that were good at scrambling better at scrambling. All right? Because now they know where they're at. So one more time. Actually, I'll use Jarry so you can see it. He's going to be on his feet. I'm going to dive between the legs. Left side hook. He drops chest over my legs. I'm going to start leaning to the left, but I'm going to block with my knee. Okay? And I'm trying to put him on his hip right here. Just bumping to his hip. Notice my head and chest are staying up. Free hand, cross grab, changing post. Putting the foot over the face, scooting the back of my belt buckle towards his face. Alright? Back. And I'm just crowding. If I can get this arm across eventually, I'm in great shape. It's going to be real tough for him to scramble out of this. Okay? So dive through, collapse to the side you got hooked, start elevating, scoot your butt towards the head, and then we'll put it all together. Good. A lot of times as I start to elevate this foot and drive towards the head, like he starts to feel his position slip. So his left hand or his top hand, a lot of times will reach and grab this lace right here, trying to pull his chest back down to the mat. Now, don't panic here. I get to this position, no big deal. All right? But one thing I've got to do is free my right hand up so I can get my ankle free, because I'm not going to be able to turn if he's got far ankle. So when I get to this position right here, I'm just going to get to like a forced roll finish. You guys done Granby's before, finishing this kind of 5-point roll position. You just shoot a leg half. All right, just shoot a leg half. Now I'm going to attack the wrist, but I'm not going to kick straight away. All right, I'm going to attack the wrist. I'm going to bring my knee to my chest, and I'm going to kick the ceiling. Now, when I attack this top hand, I got 2 options. Once I get it free, I can turn towards the legs, or I can hip shift back towards the head and start looking for a half right here. All right, I don't think he ended up being the pin leader at the end of the year, but Jay Schwarm, who wrestled at UNI, was really good in this position. He's a big time pinner. I think he was 1 or 2 most of the season as far as like pins go. 125 pounder for UNI. So back hook, knee block, drive to the hip. Notice my head and chest are up. I'm not driving and all out of whack up to the ceiling. Cross grab to the sock, toes. I'm starting to scoot. I feel him grab my ankle. I'm just going to readjust to my leg half. Everybody see that? My post hand comes into my leg half. And I'm attacking top hand on the wrist. You can see how I get my hips up. Okay, kicking the ceiling. Now I got 2 options. I can throw the wrist away and turn towards the legs, or I can hip shift, still got the wrist, and start looking for a fall from this position. Second thing I'll see, I'm scooting, he'll grab with his bottom hand. Okay, same thing, pressure back, leg half, attack the bottom wrist. I'm going to bring my knee to my chest, kick the ceiling. Now at this point, if you guys have good forced roll position, I'm reaching under my wrist, grabbing his wrist, feeding the hungry hand. Now I got this forced roll position locked up. I can come behind the head, start shifting my hips, stacking them up, looking for a fall in that fashion. Last one I'll see, he'll lock in the crotch. This one's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I get to this position, I get my leg half. You can come under right here and use your hips and your shoulder to pop the lock. All right, again, got 2 options. I can turn towards the legs, or I can hip shift and try to get back through here for a half. If this guy's just super, super strong and I can't break the lock, if you ever watch John Smith show low single finishes, he'll do a hip shift right here and catch them on their shoulder, and then he'll just change arms right there. So if they want to hang on to that crotch lock, we'll beat them here all day long. And this is just a simple process of holding him on his back until we pin him. Okay? I've already, we'll run through all 3 of them. Actually, I'll Ryan. We're going. So, diving through, back hooking, knee sliding up, trapping him to a hip. Again, the more he's on his hips, the less athletic he is. Cross grab. Some of you guys I see grabbing with your thumb, you're weak as a kitten grabbing like that. Hook. I want to hook. I don't use my thumbs to grab a lot of stuff when I'm wrestling. Post. Start scooting, start scooting, start scooting. See how I'm not even close to looking at him. I don't care what the guy looks like. I want to put pressure on him. I want to put his foot over his face. Now I'm reading hands. If he goes left hand to my laces, I shift hips, leg half, attack the wrist. Knee to chest, and I don't kick straight out. If he's really trying to hang on right here, I've got to kick the ceiling. See when I kick the ceiling, it makes his hand slide up my shin. Now I'm in good shape. Turn towards the legs or hip shift. Don't just, if I just turn towards the head right here, I'm going to turn completely too high. So I have to hip shift. Does everybody see that? How I'm hip shifting? Once I get this wrist free, I'm literally taking my butt up and I'm shifting. So I can get my arm through. So when I do pin him, I'm going to be chest to chest. If he goes bottom hand, same thing. Attack the wrist, butt up, kick the ceiling. I like feeding the hungry hand right here. Don't grab the fingers, you'll lose that in a second. Grab under your own lock. This is tight. With one hand, I got two limbs trapped up. I can come up under the head, and then watch this. Scissor my legs, turn my belt buckle down. Okay, that's a good finish there. When he locks in the crotch, okay, still got my leg half. Coming under, right here. I can break the lock with my hips and my shoulder. I have those 2 options. Or if I just can't break it, again, let go of my leg half, hip shift. Once I hip shift, I replace my arm. If he tries to pass the leg right now, he's going to get stuck. I can go under, bottom, shoulder, I can go to my half. Okay? I know that was a lot showing you that, but you got 3 finishes there. Right here. Get my feet to the mat. Keep that really close. Driving. Okay, this guy shoots a double leg. Now he's fighting off his back. I got his foot over his head. I'm in a pretty good position right here. And again, the harder I focus on keeping my feet hidden, the less it's going to be secondary, third level. I got to fight this guy off my ankles. Questions? So all we're doing is putting all 3 positions together. We're just trying to be smooth with it. Carry that momentum left or from right to left. Questions? That's what the goal is, right? The less work we got to do to score, the better, right? It's just not the case. So we're going to be on our feet, backside hand stay anchored. I want you to take a little side step. I want you to take a little side step to get the momentum of swinging my heels. Now, it's going to be a little scarier now that we're up on our feet, but this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to take a little side step, and then I'm going to drop to my knee, and then I'm going to whip my heels behind my body, and I'm going to end up in this side position that we were already getting to. We just started kind of already on our knees, so it wasn't so far to travel. Now, when I'm on my feet, all right, I'm going to take that little side step. I'm going to swing and whip my heels away, and my outside hand's going to snake. Now, your brain's going to tell you to post this hand because you're going down towards the mat at kind of a high rate of speed. Snake under. Let your shoulder and your hip take the impact. So I'm stepping, right there. See how I whip my heels away? I'm parallel. He doesn't have an angle anymore. His leg's pretty straight. All I got to do is get my feet in the mat and attack the sole. Now, once I get to this position, some of you guys are disengaging your feet from the mat and trying to just do it all with your arms. You're going to get stuck upside down. Keep your feet in the mat. Drive. Punch, 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 punch. Keep that momentum. Drive, hook, post, crowd. Like I said, the smoother we get at that transition, the less you'll have to fight ankles, crotch locks, and all that stuff. Okay? And there's some guys that are super smooth with it. Some guys that are a little bit slower with it. Okay? Side step, swing. Swing those heels away. Here, cool, right there. Notice I'm not going to my back. Okay, I'm not going to my back yet. Get into the side position. Hip and shoulder. Top hand to the sole. Driving, 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 driving. Keep that momentum going. Boom, right there. Crowd. All right? And then as you get better at it, just get smoother at it. All right? As soon as you start feeling like you can go all the way through, I like this backside anchor. Kind of helps me pull this guy with me a little bit. Side step. Okay, whip those heels. Ooh, right here. Get that. Okay. Trying to get to this position. So to answer your question, yeah, you can do it super smooth. Really, had a kid that wrestled at Cornell. This kid named Griffin Higginbotham. Didn't have a great career. Ended up breaking his neck like his sophomore year or something. But he was one of those kids that was scrambling before I knew how to teach it. So he's part of one of the reasons why we had to figure all this out. But this position won him a state title. The kid literally had him up off his feet, and as he was putting him back down on the mat, Griff just slid down the leg, past the leg, finished almost this exact position, won a state title. All right? So it does work. Works at a very high level. You guys see it all the time. We just got to figure out how we learn how to do it. And do it on the best guys. So start out slow on your feet, and then try to get faster and faster with your finishes. Good? Let's go. Toes. I'm stuffing the grip below my knee to increase my flexibility, and then I'm skipping my knee to my foot to continue to stretch them out. So I'm skipping my knee. All right? I'm getting to that 90-degree position right here. See how my knee's up under my chest. Now, there's no way for me to high leg with my chest up. So I got to drop my chest to my knee and bring my calf to my wrist. Now I'm staring this leg right in the face. All right, it's tough to pass the leg right here. I got my own leg in the way. So my knee's under my chest. I'm just going to drop my chest, swing to that high leg, and I usually post to my elbow just for a split second. And notice I'm already grabbing the sock. I'm going to come off the hip, bring two hands to it. I'm not going to go under the leg like we've been doing. I'm just going to get a baseball bat grip to the sock. Now, once I do that, I'm just going to slide my knee right here to his hip, and that'll be the essential of having our arm under. I'm just going to bring my knee to his hip, and I'm going to push his hip away as I pull his sock to me. That straightens his leg. Now, once I get to this position, I'm just going to drop it down to the bend of my elbow. I don't like having things that are important to me position-wise as far away from my body as this is when I got my arms straightened out. I want elbows tight. All right? So I'm going to drop it to the bend of my elbow, and I'm just punching away from my body. If he follows, same thing. Knee scoop, put him on a hip, post, start crowding back into him. All right? The more we do this, the better we'll get at hiding our ankles and driving towards them with our butt. Okay? So, for this single leg position, we're getting to a spin out, and we're looking for a high leg pass. Pushing the grip, stepping away, getting it down, hitting the knee, this 90-degree position. Okay? High leg, bringing my calf to my wrist. Okay, attacking the sock, hip hand comes to the sock, block their hip. All right, and then as I kind of push the hip away, pull the leg straight, dropping it to the bend of my elbow, punching away from the body, punching. Now, there will be times where we burn this guy so bad, and if he's not over my ankles right here, I can just kind of knee slide out the back door. And again, nothing's different. Taking the foot high in the air towards his head. Now, I obviously don't want to do this. That just doesn't make any sense, right? If the whole thing about scrambling is controlling his feet, getting them up over his head, I don't want to give him my feet back to do the same thing. So thumb blocking, crowding in, getting back to this position where I can wrestle. Okay? All right, Jerry, so you can see it. So again, and once we learn how to pass the leg from complex positions, man, it's on. Okay? Step, peel, skip, 90 degrees. Okay? High leg. Get to the sock, block the hip. 2 hands to the sock, push the hip away, pull the leg out straight. Make sure we drop it into the bend of our elbow. Make it part of our body. Turn, start driving. I'm thinking about knee scooping already. Knee scoop, driving to his hip. Cross grab, post, work back into him. Again, if he's attacking, get your hips right. Don't put your hips on top of his body. Keep your hips low. And just start working through your series right here. Okay? Breaking the grip or changing hands, looking for your half. Question. You might need to see it again. And getting out the back door, and then turning and getting weight on your foot, driving into them, and then knee changing if I need to. Okay? So, double leg, right here. He gets to that leg pass. I follow, repass right here, and I'm trying to get out the back door. Okay? Now, when I get here, I'm getting weight forward. Not only am I driving weight towards his head, so he can't continue to get high, I'm getting weight on my foot so I can knee change. All right, if I play these games in here, he'll hook me back. Okay? You guys watch a lot of wrestling, you'll see some guys that are extremely good in that position. They'll be on their head, they'll be fighting back into them, there'll be a lot of weird positions. So we don't give them those positions. We get weight on our foot so they can't attack it, then we just switch knees. And we finish our takedown. Questions? So this is going to develop your skills and your timing. Okay? Double leg, leg pass, repass. Count the back door. Yep. So again, I want you shooting good doubles. Boom, get on my double. I want him to feel a good double coming to him. Pass right here. Boom. Notice I got that knee side. I might have to work here. Weight on my foot. Okay? Get him off. I like my options here. Look where I'm at versus where he's at. Okay, but if I play here and he's got good balance and he starts driving back into me, it's a height battle, right? It can turn real quick. This is basically the direct opposite of what I just had. Okay, and there's guys that are good there. It's not just guys. But if the guy is finishing like we're learning how to finish today, it's a bad look for him. So, as I'm passing the leg, you're going to be on double. As I'm passing the leg here, okay, and I got it straight. A lot of times guys will high leg over as I'm passing to try to get to this position to beat me. Alright? If I'm just trying to get to this position and elevate like most people, then it's not a bad defense. But the finish that we've been getting this knee up and getting under, that high leg doesn't work. Because we're going to this force roll finish. Does that make sense to everybody? Because I see some guys like thinking they got to walk on their hands, but they want to high leg and walk on their hands at the same time because it feels like you're defending a little bit. But if a guy high legs over and I'm attacking a leg pass pretty hard, if I'm attacking the leg pass pretty hard, he high legs over, I'll beat him every single time. Okay? And that's why we finish this way instead of always just trying to pick the leg up and turn back in. That worked 5-6 years ago. Guys are getting better at staying in the fight in a scramble, and that high leg stuff isn't as prevalent working like it used to. But we've got to get smoother at walking on our hands on that pass or the repass. Okay? Any leg pass, the guy that's getting passed has to walk on their hands. So go out and tone it down a little bit. And some of you guys are still squeezing. Man, when you learn a new technique, you got to be relaxed. You got to be relaxed and you got to feel it. So I'm double. Okay, he's passing, float, repass. If I can get out the back door, great. If he's right over my legs, Keep going to your knee scoop finish. Crouch, butt towards the head, elevate, and I can get to my finish. Let's spend about another minute or so trying to smooth out this pass, repass. Go. If we can really start to understand the concept of getting the far ankle and winning positions in far ankle, that's number one best position to win scrambles in. Second one is ducking the ankle. Okay, now we just passed the leg, all right, or passed the ankle, which means we're chest down, we're rolling across our back to chest down again or to a position to fill. With the duck, we're not going to continue to roll. So when I get to the ankle where I was going to pass and roll and try to score, I'm going to get to the ankle and I'm going to duck up under the ankle and kind of start turning back in towards the person that I'm wrestling. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to be in that same position. He's going to be on his feet. All right. Oh, no, I'm on my feet. He's going to dive through. He's going to back hook like he just passed my leg. Okay. So essentially, this is where we started learning. Just flat. This is where we started learning our leg passes, but this is where we're going to start the ankle duck. Because when he passes my leg, this is the situation he ends up in already. All right. If I double leg him any leg pass, this is where he would knee scoop and all that stuff. So same principles apply. If I'm moving left or right, I've got to attack the right side and attack to my right. It doesn't do me any good to get here and start attacking this position. He's not going to let go of that foot, and we're going to end up in a stalemate. We don't scramble to stalemate. We scramble to win takedowns or win position. So the difference between the ankle duck and the leg pass is, like I said, I'm ducking up under the ankle, and I'm going to end up in between his legs. But the first thing we got to do is learn this one breakdance move. All right, so I'm going to dive my chest out to the heel. I'm going to attack his sock with both my hands like a baseball bat. So I'm diving my chest out to his heel. Okay, I got the sock with both my hands. Now I'm high legging over my heel to my butt, but I'm also going to flex my core and twist my body under his leg. Everybody see that? I didn't just dive out and pick it up. I'm on my shoulder and my hip, and I'm flexing my core and windshield wiper my body up under his leg. I'm going to come back out on top, put my butt on his shoulder, dive my chest out to his heel, lift his heel up in the air, not on my elbow. Okay? This is as high as I'll ever get the foot when I'm got on my elbow. When I drop down to my shoulder, I can get it a lot higher. Okay? And then I'm windshield wipering my body under. So this is the motion. Out, windshield wiper under. Out, windshield wiper under. That's all I want you doing right now. Shooting out, windshield wipering up under the ankle. Because what we're going to do is we're building a tendency and a skill set to get out, to get under, and to be able to sit up and wrestle back into this guy. I should win this position every time if I can get here. With him still having his head down and me being able to drive into him right here, I should be in good shape. I don't want you to sit up and duck up under the ankle yet. I want you to dive out, I want you to elevate it up, and I want you to curl your body under. All right? So, you're going to be on your feet. The guy that's practicing the ankle duck, he's diving through, back hooking left side. I'm going to drop down. He's got my right leg hooked. I'm attacking his right side. Diving my chest out to the heel. It's important that my body gets real far out towards his foot. I don't want my chest way down here. Okay? Dive my chest out to the heel. Bring my heel to my butt. I'm going to be on my shoulder and my hip. Elevate. As I elevate, I windshield wiper under. Okay? Windshield wiper under. See how I'm bringing my foot to my butt? It's helping me curl up under his leg. Now, when I curl up under his leg, see how my chest is up under his knee? This is how far I want you to get up under his leg. If you just curl up under his leg to here and you sit up, you're going to be sitting up into his shin. You're not going to get your ankle duck right here. So it's important that I'm pulling the leg to keep it straight, but I'm curling up under it. All right? I want his knee on my torso. And I want you to hit about 5 and then switch. Hit about 5 of these. Shoot out, curl under, come back, just like that. Over and over again. The ankle duck will stop all the leg passes. Because as we kind of saw, if he passes my leg and I pass his leg, what can he do again? Repass. Technically, we could just repass down the street, to a local restaurant and get something to eat. Until somebody starts getting hype and shuts things down with hype and working back into them, then the repasses will continue to happen. The beautiful part of the duck, the ankle duck, no more rolling around if we execute it properly. So he hooks to my right leg, I'm attacking his right leg. Now, the right hand is the hand that's going to stay on the sock. The left hand is going to thread under, and we're going to sit up and trap his leg in my armpit. Okay, so I'm going to dive out. All right, I'm going to bring my heel to my butt. I'm going to curl my body under. But when I curl under, my right hand is going to elevate. My left hand is going to go under. Does everybody see this? Under is not here. Under is under. You'd be shocked. There'll be somebody who'll do all the good work and sit up right here and just handcuff their left arm. And they'll be trying to drive into this guy, and this arm is going to be stuck right here. Now it's going to happen, right? Somebody's going to do it. It is what it is. But we want to go under. So I dive out, I curl under, left arm under. Everybody see that? So my right hand's elevating, left arm swimming. And as I continue to sit up, I get to this hurdle stretch position right here. Now his legs should be somewhat, his knees should be somewhat centered on my torso, and all I'm thinking about doing is keeping both feet in the mat and crowding into this guy. Now, here's another thing that's really, really important to remember about scrambling. If I can find his bottom shoulder in a scramble with one of my hands, it's going to shut down all kinds of stuff. If you ever get lost in a scramble, just find the guy's bottom shoulder with one of your hands and cup it, and you'll stop a lot of rolling around as well. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. As we duck the ankle and work back in, I'm trying to find his bottom shoulder. Okay? So, drop down, dive out, and as I curl, I'm thinking about sitting up into this hurdle stretch. Okay? This position right here. And all I'm thinking about doing is getting my chest over my foot, finding his bottom shoulder. Now, you might get lucky right here. You might shelf a leg and get you a little weird backside cradle right here. Okay? Just don't let your feet get too close and this guy starts shutting your position down. Find that bottom shoulder, just crowd into him as much as you need to get your takedown. All right? And this is where it really works. On your feet. I get to my double. He passes my leg. I follow, I duck his ankle. Okay? Now, like I said, a lot of guys know a leg pass. A lot of guys feel comfortable passing a leg. A lot of guys don't know about ankle ducks. So they'll pass the leg, they think they got it won. We keep wrestling and duck the ankle, and they're like, ooh, I felt this one before. Why is this guy behind me all of a sudden? So again, we're going to walk on our hands and float. Going to attack the ankle. We're going to get to our shoulder and our hip, not our elbow and our hip. We're going to thread our arm under, and we're just getting to a hurdle stretch. So we're just literally getting to this position right here. Bringing that hurdle stretch up, chest up over, and I'm driving. Same thing we did when we finished back door. I'm driving my chest out over my knee, and I'm looking for that bottom shoulder. Okay, are you ready? So don't do the leg pass yet. He's just going to dive through and back hook. Okay? Yep, you're good. Dive down, back hook. I'm just going to drop down. I want to execute the whole ankle duck. Okay? So again, I'm diving out. I'm high legging over, elevating. Arms coming under. And as I kick, I'm sitting back up, immediately driving back in. Okay, immediately driving back in. And just get smoother and smoother and faster and faster. And the faster you hit it, the quicker it's going to be on this guy. He ain't going to be able to adjust. And we'll talk about when he sits back and tries to beat us. There's a couple positions there we got to fix. All right, but I'm out. Right here. Just trying to get under. Driving back in, finding that bottom shoulder, just resting there. It's not going to be easy. Right? It's not. It's a small window of timing that I gotta get it with. Okay? So I'm gonna double leg and he's gonna leg pass. The minute his belt buckle is facing the ceiling is when I'm gonna start my ankle duck. So when I double leg, or any situation where he leg passes, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing it with a double leg now so we can get rep. So as I feel him start to pass my leg, the minute he gets here, okay? If he's attacking my right leg, my left elbow just drops in between his legs because I'm already walking on my hands, keeping my chest over his legs. If he's attacking my left leg, it will be my right elbow. But it's always going to be opposite elbow of the leg he's passing. Now, as he continues to pass, I'm just going to dig my elbow behind his knee and get to this position. Okay, so I didn't have to dive, didn't have to grab anything, didn't have to change my hands, and I end up in the exact same position. Okay, this is what we call efficiency. All right, But there's a lot of times when we miss that window and we can't dig our elbow behind his knee, and then we got to dive out and do all that extra stuff. But if I can catch him with his belt buckle to the ceiling, it's a good opportunity. So as I start right here, boom, elbow drops. Okay, and the same thing. Look at bottom shoulder, getting my chest out over my feet. Do it really slow. So double leg, I'm driving. He's getting my leg straight. I'm starting to feel to the point where I gotta let go and walk on my hands. Right when I do that, elbow drops. Opposite leg, elbow drops. And all I'm doing is digging behind his knee. He's gonna continue to belly down and try to beat that leg pass. I'm digging behind, sitting up. Boom, right here. And you'll find that you're way closer to his head when you do it that way than when we dive out. Got where you're at? So again, slow double leg. Driving him down, boom, shoulder drop or elbow drops. Everybody see how my elbow drop was? Once his leg turns over, I don't have it anymore. Okay? So the minute, come back over a little bit, the minute my brain's telling me, hey, he's leg passing, you let go, just drop your elbow in between his legs. Then as he continues to pass, dig it up behind his leg. And then it starts to be a little bit of a hike battle. We'll talk about if he elevates and sits back. Elevate and sit back. We'll talk about if he comes here. We can still beat him here. It's a little dicey, but we can beat him here. Okay, but we don't want it to get to that. I want to be here. I want to win in the hike battle, get in the bottom shoulder immediately. Questions? And I'm cutting across the bottom knee trap. Boom, right here. Have we been here before? Just fix your grip, post, crowd the head. More than likely, once we turn him here, he ain't going to have an option to grab my ankles or crotch, and I'm just going to turn in towards his legs. And I've told a couple people throughout the day, turning towards the legs is never a wrong answer. If you ever get lost in a situation, turn towards the legs. Don't turn towards the head. Okay? Turn towards the legs is always safer than turning towards the head. Okay? So, we're just going to go out. They're going to dive through, just for now. All right? We're going to dive out. We're going to duck. And as I duck, he's going to start sitting back. I won't win this battle. Even if I'm just driving real hard into him, I'm not going to win this battle. I've got to swim over the top to the far ankle. And I've got to cut my knee across. And I'm driving into him, putting him back on his hip. See, I'm driving into his hip. Get your cross grab. Get your post. Get his foot up over his head. And we can start winning that scramble again. And then after you hit a couple of those and you feel good, then go to your double leg pass, ankle duck, whether it's the magic trick ankle duck or you're diving and ducking under, and then have your partner sit back. So your last drill scenario will be here. Now you gotta go magic trick. I sit up, he starts to sit back, boom, far ankle, cut across, elevate. I might end up here. It's even better, right? He might have my ankles, but man, I'm stacking him up hard here. There's only going to be so long a ref, don't let him wrestle from this position. High school, college, whatever. I'm making him fight off his back. The referee's going to have to make a decision there. Right? All right, last little drill session. Go. When I split the middle, I want to make sure we're giving proper feels. So when we kind of post right here, hop my knees up under my chest and split. For when we're splitting right now, I want your butt low and I want your laces flat. And again, the more vertical my spine is in wrestling positions, the stronger I'm going to be. The more parallel it gets with the mat, the weaker I am. So I want a good straight back right here, and we'll talk about what we're going to do in this position when we put them upside down. Now, there's some guys that are really good at wrestling upside down. Ben Askren's probably the best one I've ever seen. All right, that really made it a home base for him to operate when guys attack his leg. Now, I'm going to give you a couple different options. The first one's going to be a real quick score, all right? But I want to talk about the fundamentals. So he's in on my leg. The first thing I'm going to do, again, is we're trying to square up. My hips go in, my legs go back, and I'm trying to keep from not scrambling here. A lot of times we get to this position, they're going to post and split. Now, before they post and split, when I just initially square up, when he's on my right leg, I just use my arm as an anchor, and I'm just going to punch the air, not the mat, the air in between his legs. It'll keep his hips away, and it'll also keep him out in front of me from running around behind. Now, guys will still be good there, and they'll build. But I want you to get your anchor in, and I want you to kind of try to push his hips away. He's going to post and split, but when he posts and splits, I'm going to put my fist in the mat. My head's going to go to the mat, and my heels are going to come to my butt. Now, using his momentum coming up as he's trying to get his back straight, I'm going to arch my back, and see how when I arch, it takes his elbow behind his ear. This is real important because it makes him real weak. Then I'm just going to pivot off my head, keep my anchor in his thigh, and I'm going to start wrestling the corner. He's not just going to fall asleep. I'm going to have to wrestle this position. I might end up back low on the leg. Okay, but we got to climb that rope and get back to a position we can score as quick as possible. All right, so he shoots this single. I want to start with fundamentals. Rake the head with my forearm. Stuff with my backside hand. Step, swing, cover. All right, just like I would in a wrestling match trying to sprawl. I set my anchor with my right arm because he's attacking my right leg. He posts and splits. I'm forcing my head to the mat. Okay, but I'm also using his momentum to build up as I arch and cartwheel off. I keep this anchor so I can keep his hips close. If I can work back to this position, great. Okay, if not, I might have to wrestle a little bit harder. But the harder he posts and splits and tries to rip that leg up, the more I'm going to use that momentum over the top. Okay, everybody spread out real quick. All right, just put your fists on either side of your head, palms facing forward. All right, and I want you to do cartwheels on your elbows and your head. Just to get used to putting your elbows and your head on the mat. All right, back and forth. Do a couple of them. Find out what kind of action you got in here. Whoa, don't kill anybody. Upside down. He would actually force these Iranian positions a lot of time. I know you guys aren't old enough, but Chris Pendleton is the only guy to like really have a good winning record against Ben Askren. I think it might be only a few matches he won or lost in college. He'd have been a four-time NCAA champion if it wouldn't have been for Chris Pendleton, who's a head coach at Oregon State now. But the one thing about Pendleton, when you go back and watch their NCAA finals, is he didn't kind of get deeper in that trap that Askren was setting when he started wrestling upside down. And he was so good at putting guys in an Iranian position that didn't even like wrestling there, right? And then he's just dragging them further out to sea. All right? And guys would just get in that Iranian position and not be near as comfortable attacking from it as Askren was scrambling from it. Okay? So now, but a lot of times, like I said, he would create that position. So we might be wrestling on bottom, right? On top bottom, there's short time, I start getting my feet. All this guy's got to do is ride me out. It's high school wrestling, so the refs probably aren't very great. He just redrops down to a single, right? He's just killing the clock. And we just look at mom and dad and look at the referee and coach and throw our hands up instead of continuing to create and wrestle. Okay? Square back up. Now, we're going to get to a similar position, but not as much with the anchor because this guy's just going to lay here. Right? He's just going to lock it down, take the stall call, take the stalemate, and burn the clock. So we're going to go tight waist to the side. He's got my leg, and I'm going to go far ankle. Now, I want your body to always go away from the side you have the ankle. So whatever side you attack the ankle, that's the side your body's going away from. In this case, he's going to have my left leg, so I'm going to go tight waist, and I'm going to go far ankle on the leg he's attacking. I don't think there's a right or wrong here. It just depends on how comfortable you are going to which side. But I'm going to drive into him when he's in on this single. I'm going to force the Iranian position up here. Then I'm going to get both knees to one side. And I'm just going to stretch them out, get my knee swing down, and I'm going to have far ankle when I come back on the opposite side. So again, this is a position it was more of a redrop, hang on, burn clock. And I'm going to square back up, go tight waist ankle, drive into him. He's on my right leg. Same thing. I'm going to drive into him. I'm going to force him to pop up. But I'm going to carry that momentum, get both knees to one side. Now I'm wrestling back into this position with far ankle. See how he's got an inside arm trap? He's going to keep wrestling here. He'll try to square up. And it's on me to continue to wrestle. Okay? Maybe I get lucky and he turns into a cradle. So he's in a single leg. Okay, we're going to rake stuff covered here, all right? But we're going to go ankle on the side he's attacking instead of anchor, all right? And we're going to force this position. Tight waist ankle, and I want you to drive your hips in until I'm over the top. Boom, here. See how my head hits? I'm getting both knees to one side. Big outside knee swing. Don't fall to my hips. Outside foot steps, and I wrestle this position. He'll never be able to square as long as I got far ankle. Okay, I'll be able to chase this position. hand change, but don't leg ball far ankle. Does that make sense to everybody? Can borrow your arm so you can see it? So again, this is different scenarios. He might shoot and I might end up here, or he might redrop and I have to kind of force this position. But either way, we're still getting reps, rake, stuffing, and covering. He's on my right leg. I'm going to go right ankle, right hand, right ankle. Opposite hand's just going to be a tight waist so I can keep my body close. So just belly button. Drive, drive, drive. I'm driving on my toes, carrying that momentum till my head hits the mat. Arch. Both knees one side, knees swing down, outside foot up, hand change, back into wrestling. Questions? Anybody need to see it again? He's got crazy defense, but one thing he does real good, especially in this position, as these guys post and split, and I'm going to go to my anchor, but I'm going to switch to a tight waist. So see the difference when I got my anchor right here to kind of hold their hips away and keep them in front, and then my tight waist is more to secure my body close to theirs. All right, we'll have one scenario when he splits, we'll actually get our body away from his body, but for the most part, I want to be close and I want to be able to attack with tight angles. All right, and that's one thing I talk a lot with my guys, high and low skilled, about whoever wrestles in the tightest circle wins. All right, we don't really think about small, simple details, but if he's on the outside of that circle and I'm on the outside of the circle and we're both shuffling the same speed, we'll never get an angle to attack, right? But if he's staying to shuffle on this same circle and I'm taking tighter angles within that circle, I'm going to win. I'm going to win the angle. Might not win the takedown, but the tightest circle wins. And when you think about wrestling in the tightest circle, it's not just on our feet, right? If he's top bottom, he starts on my right side, and I'm really good at wrestling in a tight circle, right? It's tough for him to keep up with, okay? I'm wrestling in the tightest circle possible because that's going to create the best angles possible, all right? And nothing's different when we're top, when we're bottom, when we're neutral, when we're scrambling. So we're going to set this anchor tight, but as he starts to post and split, and I'm going to start to lose, go ahead, I'm going to start to lose this position, I'm going to switch to tight waist. And when I switch to tight waist, I'm going to post and head, but I'm going to turn my belt buckle away, kind of like a hip swivel, all right? So I'm not going straight over the top anymore, I'm hip swiveling, and I'm trying to pop down to the side. See a little bit different angle? I didn't have far ankle this time, but I'm still close to the hips with my belly whizzer, and I'm just going to wrestle through that position. Again, be prepared for them to turn and face you, but they just had you upside down on a single leg attack. All right, so if I get a 50-50 scramble from there, I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm setting my anchor. He goes to post and split. I'm going to switch to tight waist. As he starts to beat me with the post, head to the mat, hips away, hip swivel. And I'm just cutting my hips down the side, and I'm looking to turn face. Okay, so we're a little bit of a scramble, a little bit of a back to a sprawl. But I turn my hips away, and I just kind of cut them down the side. Questions? You see it? Right. So again, set that anchor, keep him out in front, block knees, all the stuff you've been taught to do. But once he starts to post and split and beat me, I'm going to go tight waist. I'm going to get head to the mat. I'm going to get heels to my butt. And I'm going to turn my hip away right here. And as he's done, he might circle on his knees a little bit. And I'm going to keep wrestling and cut my hips down the side. Now, we're almost 50-50. The only difference is I got a little control point with the hip or with the belly whizzer, and he doesn't. But please believe if I leave my far ankle behind, he's going to catch it. Okay? So I'm stepping foot up. He's going to circle and wrestle. And I got to wrestle back into him, get his hips covered. Okay? So just spar a little bit once you get that feel, but it's hip away, cut it down the side, keep your belly whizzer. Go. But if this guy can grab your leg, not post his free arm, and then just get vertical with his back, I would probably call injury time and just go to the trunk and get like a battle axe or a ray gun or something, because you're going to need that to beat that guy. Almost every other human on the planet, in order to get this position vertical, we're going to have to post, get our knees back up under our chest so we can get our power line upright. Again, everything hinges off my spine, my power line. The closer it gets to horizontal, the weaker I get. All right, so we know this guy wants to get to that position. Now, knowing that he's going to post, we can trap the arm. But I want to make sure when we trap the arm, we're setting up the proper counter. So now, again, I like setting my anchor every time. Now, I'm pressuring, we're battling, he's trying to get hips under. When he posts a split, okay, go ahead and split. His hand's only going to be on the mat for a second. So as he's driving up, I'm catching the arm and I'm trying to lock right at the elbow. Okay, heels still come to my butt, and I'm still trying to get both knees to one side so I can get that outside knee down. Again, every time we jumped off to a side or hopped off to a side, my knees are under me. I don't fall to my hip at all costs because I'm back rolling. I like going to the trap side because that just makes sense. I'm not saying you can do it to the other side that's wrong, but I like going to the trap side. So as he goes to post and split here, trapping at the elbow. Now, if you're a wizard and can get the wrist and fall off and go super fancy there with the change off, kill it, right? But most of the time, we're just going to trap at the elbow, get my hips to the trap side, and then work for my takedown in that position. Because he wants to pop push, he wants to cross grab and post, all that stuff you've been learning from day one. So we're wrestling this position, I'm blocking, he goes to post and split. As he splits, I'm just collecting the arm on my way up. Notice, my head's on the mat, heels are to my butt, but I'm arching it. Getting both knees to one side, big knee swing down. Now, if we're wrestling freestyle, this isn't a bad idea. Hustling around behind him, getting your exposure points, and then trying to get on top in parterre. And folk style, again, the goal is to scramble as little as possible. I'm trying to get back to a good, sound, controllable position. More rolling means more opportunity for him to jump back in the fray. Okay? So trap that arm, get to the trap side. You can go to both sides and see what it feels like to you. All right? Everybody ready? So again, he's in on this single. He goes to, I'm setting my anchor. He goes to post and split. I'm collecting the arm on the way up. And again, I can use my knees kind of like hands. I'm upside down right here. See, I'm pushing his head across with my knee and get my outside knee down. All right? Outside foot up. He can grab me from here. I can't just wrestle this position. All right? He can just throw his left arm through the hole, start grabbing, and I'm right back to nothing. So make sure we're hustling and covering hips. Good? Let's go. Leg. And I want you to kind of start getting to it could be a hybrid, or it could just be one of these positions that you felt that you really like at this point. Okay, now trapping the arm, in my opinion, I try more to just get behind him. I set my anchor and cartwheel a lot more. Okay, but one thing that'll happen when we're getting to this Iranian position that's really, really difficult, and I think it's the best way to even finish Iranian. And if you watch John Smith show it, he always talks about ankles to the outside or ankles to the side I'm attacking. So I'm in on this single leg, ankles to the outside, and then sitting through. Now, the beauty of sitting through and getting to this position, if you can maintain a good flex core and a vertical spine, is even when I get here, he's got nothing to attack, right? That's kind of been a lot of our control points to scramble, is attacking ankles and attacking trap arms and things like that. When you get to this position, it's a little bit tougher, right? Because this guy's reaching through, he's posting, he's trying to slip off, finish through there, however they're finishing. But when I get to this Iranian position, when I get a post, instead of coming up and splitting, I'm going to windshield wiper to the outside and push through. It's kind of like this short sit position. When we recognize that guy's starting to short sit through, all I want you to think about doing is taking your knees, trying to crack his head like a nut, and taking off running on your hands. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to make him fall back, but as he starts to fall back, he's going to turn one way or the other. Keep his head pinched and just square up and face him. So I'm wrestling here. He windshield wipers to the side he's attacking. He goes to sit through. I get here and I got nothing to attack. Heels are going to come to my butt. I'm going to pinch his head and I'm going to take off running. Now, when he gets about right here, he's going to start turning towards my leg. As he does, I square back up. Now I'm back to my sprawl, slide back, block knees, go behind, knuckle block, all that stuff. But I've got to put him in a bad spot. If we let them get here and they're low and athletic and can wrestle, we got our hands full. He sits through and we take him to this position. I like our odds of squaring up, okay? So single leg, I'm blocking. He sits to the outside, pinch. Right here, pinch. Take off running, straight line. He'll dictate what side, but notice how my t-shirt's where you can read it as soon as we square up. Then I'm back to my baseline defense. So that's a perfect example of we scramble a bit, and we get back to our baseline defense. But I want to make sure that we're really giving him this high level feel of my windshield wiper, sit through, he's going to pinch my head, he's going to take off running. Most of the time, you're going to turn to the side, the leg's on. Okay, but once we get here, it's big chest, heavy hips, and then wrestle to a corner. Okay, don't just stop when we square it up. Once you get his face back down on the floor, start busting, posting those elbows, dragging, whatever you're doing to get behind. Questions? Can you see it? So again, all I'm thinking about is pinching the head and taking off running and ripping it off. So he posts to go sit through, pinch. Don't pinch here. Okay, he'll start attacking ankles. Pinch, hide those ankles, take off running, take off running. Big chest. I like my options here. I start attacking elbows, start hustling the angles, get back to your step number one. But anytime my foot does come off the mat, I'm immediately putting my shin right here on his thigh. So we're going to do a little skill drill here. And also notice my whizzer is not down here on my sock anymore. Okay, this doesn't do anything when I'm up off the mat. My whizzer, pinky right here above the kneecap. Everybody see that? My pinky's right above my kneecap. And nothing changes with what I try to do with my whizzer. I'm still trying to put my forearm in his armpit, right? I'm trying to make him bend over at the waist. Same thing when we're down here on the mat and I have my closed whizzer. I'm trying to put his head forward. All right, we're just grabbing our leg in different places. When I'm up on my feet, I gotta change my point of contact with my hand. So foot goes inside, closed whizzer right here. Now, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna push his head away and put our head in the pocket right here. All right, or you can just keep your hand on his head. I don't care. I'm more comfortable with my hand pushing the head away than my head in the pocket, but I don't want his head close to his shoulder, and I don't want his head getting close to my chest. That's important. Okay, so I'm just going to push his head away. I want you to drive into him, hop into him, and then circle around behind him and bend him over at the waist. Hop into him, then circle around behind him, and bend him over at the waist. Hop into him, circle around behind him, make him bend over at the waist. You see what that starts to do to his grip? Starts to do to his position. It's tough for that guy to hang on when we're constantly bending him over at the waist. So I'm hopping in, and then I'm circling around behind, and then I'm twisting my whizzer. Really cranking that whizzer, making him bend over at the waist. 3 times, then switch. Question. Just hop into him, hop into him, hop into him, and then I'm going to circle around behind him, but when I circle around behind him, cranking that whizzer, bending him over at the waist. Then I'm going to drag him down, but I'm going to cross in front. If I go away, that's just not smart. That doesn't make any kind of sense. All right? So I'm going to go across in front of him. What it's going to do is it's going to twist his torso, and it's going to make him have to drop to his inside knee for a second or post his hand and split his power on my leg. So I'm dragging him across right here. And again, I'm keeping my feet away from each other. Now, I can go back down to my shin whizzer here and start working, or if he splits his power, and I can start sliding my hips away, I'm right back to just normal defense. Okay? But we've got to get comfortable in the position, so when we're dragging him down to the mat across, we drive in, circle him behind, drag him down back right here. I like my options. I like to, get this leg straight, start to square back up. If he runs a corner or splits the middle, then we have the rest of our scrambling technique that we can engage with. Okay, I want you driving in, circling behind, dragging him down. He's going to pick me back up. Because I want this guy to understand how miserable it is when a guy just won't let you build on his leg. So I'm going to drive in, circle behind, right here, drag him down. He picks me back up, and back inside. Drive in, circle behind, drag him down. Okay, that sucks. There's nothing fun about any of that. Okay, but we got to understand both sides of it and why we're doing it. Put him down on the mat, then build back up, foot back inside, hop back into him, drag him back down. Go, every time, right? So if I beat the grip, again, grip's below my knee, and I'm dragging him down to the mat, he splits his power and post, there's a high possibility I can square up from here, right? So as I start to square, you see how he went inside knee up, and he starts to circle and get this angle back and shelf? as soon as he does, boom, right into our kick out. Okay, right when he's starting to adjust and get back to a position to where he could possibly build and score, boom, snapping the ankle right back out away from him. Okay, so we're dragging them down. They're splitting their power, going inside shelf. We're immediately posting and kicking out. Again, make sure we're swimming across the body, turning that hip down, big, powerful knee slide away. Don't just dive away. Then we'll get to a dive roll from here where we're passing the leg and starting to work up. Questions? Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. So again, we're just dragging them down, and they're inside shelf. Okay. Got my knee, got the grip below my knee. Drive in, moving this guy around. Drag him down the mat as soon as I feel that shelf right here. Kicking out. Turning back, facing in. Moving to fight another day. Okay. But when he just originally just pulls it up to that shelf, I'm gonna go get the leg quick. All right. So you can even drag him forward to get him to step, so we can go back to the leg. But all I want you to do now is just get in this shelf position.
He did.
Think about your belt buckle being somewhere over their toe. That's a good gauge. If I'm out here, there's no way I'm going to get to that leg. I'll dive back and end up here. And then he's just going to take me down. Okay? So, he shelves. Right? Again, I might be dragging him forward a little bit. Wait for him to step up. Boom, there I go. And as soon as I get to it, punching away from the body. Trying to get my feet back to the mat. Looking to get back to a position to score and finish. Knee blocking his knee. Cross grabbing, posting, getting that foot up over his head. Crowd back into him, put him in trouble. Questions? You see it?
Yes.
All right. So, we're going to start on the mat. We're not dragging him down yet. Foot's going to be inside. Wizard's going to be closed. He's going to shelf inside. Outside knee down, inside knee up.
Switch.
Right knee down, left foot knee up. Boom, inside shelf. The minute he's shelved, if I'm this far away, drag him forward a little bit. But make sure we're not dragging him on top of us, right? That just doesn't make any sense. As I'm dragging him forward, I'm watching his footstep, right? Dragging. Diving under, punching away from the body. Then I'm working back to my finish from there. So arm goes in, head goes out. Arm goes inside, head goes outside. Just think about putting your shoulder on their laces. Questions? Go, cut them back on the mat. Now everybody kind of knows that broomstick, cut back, 3 in a row, whatever you guys, what do you guys call this? We'll cut them back. Broomstick. All right. We're essentially going to do that, but we're going to do this from the shelf on the mat. We'll get to the broomstick position too, just make sure everybody knows it. Most people have seen it before. But when he goes inside shelf right here, okay? When he goes inside shelf and I don't have much of a crank, I'm going to take my bottom foot and I'm going to slide like I'm getting 3 in a row, but I'm going to hook behind his leg. Somebody see where I'm hooking right here? Okay? If you guys watch the NCAA finals, the Super 32 finals with Rich Figueroa and Craig Diakomahalis, Yanni's little brother, he got hit with this position a couple times. Actually, I think was it overtime? It was just once, right? But Figueroa's really good here. He's a California kid, wrestles for Selma. All right? And see how I'm trapping his foot right here, and I got my foot behind? I'm just gonna put him on his butt right here. Just elevate and wrestle back into this position. Now I might get a takedown, we might scramble and end up square head to head. But again, I'm on the mat, he's got my legs shelved up in the air, and I only got so many limited options here. So I get to this position, okay? I can't be real far out in front, but if I am out far in front, I should be able to square and get back to baseline defense. So this guy's kind of beating me here. Maybe I'm dragging him a little bit. And I drag him forward, and then I trip. I'm right behind. Notice my head and chest are up. I like switching my whizzer hand that's palm down. I like kind of coming up to the armpit right here and picking them up a little bit. Boom. Setting them back on their butt to this position. I'm not going to hold them here, but I'm just elevating this foot long enough to get my hips up under me and wrestle back into them. Okay? So start down here in the shell position. Okay? And play around with where you want to hook. Okay? Sliding around behind them, or if you want to drag them forward and hook, and then I'm putting them back on his butt. See, I'm using my feet to trap him, put him back on his butt, and then it heels to my butt, and I'm wrestling back into him. Not going to catch a good guy on his back there, but we can create a little bit of a scramble and get back to a sequence where we can score. You see it?
Yes.
All right. So again, inside shelf, okay, this position. This foot's important, but I've got to get his shelf foot close enough to me. I can't pull him just straight into my legs. I got to keep my legs apart. So I can pull and scoop, boom, and then trap right here. Okay? And as I trap, I'm pulling. I'm pulling back on this whole wizard position right here, trying to put him on his butt. There. And then just pop him through. Okay? Wrestle that position. Go. I'm trapping and I got my head fighting right here. It gives me an opportunity to kind of fight my head back in. You can play in that position a little bit. The main thing I want to discuss is you guys are up on this foot and you're jumping and just collapsing on the ankle and the knee. That's not only dangerous, it's illegal. Okay? Just like we're up on our feet, I can't have one leg in front and then put another leg behind me. That's illegal. But I think that the only style that's illegal is like senior freestyle. But I can't put my foot behind his legs. Because it just puts a lot of tension on the outsides of his knees when we jump back into them. So make sure when we're in this shell position right here, I'm not jumping up and collapsing on top of him. I'm just windshield wiping my foot and trapping. And then pulling him back to his butt and elevating. This is actually really important until I get my heels up under my butt. Okay? And then I'm just wrestling back to this position. Okay, so just make sure we're not jumping on that guy's ankle when we do it. You're going to get called illegal there. Coach is going to go crazy. Now, so we're up on our feet. So we've done a couple things from inside. Okay, now we're going to talk about in between. Now we go in between. All I want you to think about is hopping 3 feet in a row. Like I said, most of you guys have seen this before, but we'll talk about a couple different ways to execute. Trying to get 3 feet in a row. Then my outside hand blocks his knee, but the biggest issue people have when they execute this cut back here is they go back way too hard. Then they'll lose control. When I hop 3 in a row and block, all I'm thinking about doing is squatting down as far as I can to my butt, to my heel. Ooh, right there. I want him to stop right when I get to the mat. A lot of you guys take it way back, end up rolling around, trying to recover in this position. Then you got a referee that don't know it's an actual move. And everybody's going crazy. Control is the game, right? Control is the game of wrestling. So he picks my leg up. All right, I go inside. Laces are on the far knee. Hop 3 in a row. My wizard's up by my kneecap. Squat and compress. Okay? Squat and compress. When I block behind his knee, I'm compressing down. Sitting hard, sitting hard. Ooh, right here, and I flex my core. Holding him right here. Flexing my core, trying to get my chest over his. And same thing, like on our other position, when we ended up with the back hook on our Jonesy tilt, right here when I get my points, and I let him belly down and he turns away. See how I kept this hook? And I'm right back on top. Boom. Going back to work on top. Whether I'm going bar and half, getting my legs in, whatever I'm doing from that position. Okay? So recognize when you're coming out of these takedowns, you're building right into your turns. Alright, everybody ready? So again, like I said, a lot of you guys have seen this before. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page technically. Got my wizard high. Pinky on the kneecap. Hop 3 in a row. When I hop 3 in a row, see how I'm twisting his body a little bit? See how I'm twisting his body? My leg's staying straight. I'm hopping 3 in a row. Once I get that block, ooh, here's my sit. Control. And again, I'm just hooking behind the leg. See how this heel comes to my butt? Driving in. Hold here, get your 2, get your 3, then when he bellies down, keep this hook. Keep that hook. Back on top, make it a pay. Questions? So when this guy steps back and we can't hook this leg, we're going to keep what we got. The hand that was going to block the knee that stepped back, he's going to think about an ankle pick all the way across. So he's just going to take his right hand and try to attack my heel. Now, as he starts to attack my heel, all I want him to think about doing is taking his forehead to my toe. So he's going to attack my heel, take his forehead to my toe, going all the way through. Back to this position right here. So he ended up, same thing, broomstick, except he attacked my far ankle. Now, this isn't something we dive to. This is something we kind of compress down to. Okay? So I got my 3 in a row, and I try to block. He steps back. I immediately go to the far ankle. I'm just thinking about taking my forehead to his toe, right here. See how I'm attacking the far ankle? This leg just continues to elevate, and I take him straight over the top, kind of like an elevator. This heel immediately is going to come back. Again, get my knees and my feet up under my butt, so I can wrestle in an athletic position and just wrestle through that. Okay? So where we were sitting straight down and putting him on his butt, we're going to cross his body and we're attacking the far ankle. I'm literally trying to do this. That's what I'm trying to do to his far ankle. It'll be tough to get my head all the way there, but that's my goal. So I got 3 in a row right here. He steps back. I go all the way back. Cross. Boom. Rotate through. Boom. Put him on his butt. Heel. Man, if you get a Turk here, that'd be freaking amazing. Probably going to swirl out. We're just going to end up with a takedown there. Or somebody else. So, you guys can see it. So again, I got 3 in a row. Fight, trying to get the foot on the mat, trying to get it inside, can't. Stop. I'm going to go 3 in a row. He steps back. He steps back. I'm attacking across the body, and I'm kind of looking back into him. Boom. Kind of looking back into him here. See how I keep this heel? I don't want to let it go. He's going to get his feet back in the mat. He's going to start wrestling here. Okay? So I keep this heel until I quit clear. Then I can start wrestling back into him. Like I said, probably going to be tough getting a good guy on his back here. All right? That's another option when we got that single leg on our feet. Question: in between or inside? I'm still kind of out on which one I like. I'm not a big thrower either. I'm a big fireman's guy, so this kind of feels good to me here. So I got this closed lizard, okay, in this position, all right, and I either got my foot inside or across. Like I said, I like my foot inside. Now, we were talking about 3 in a row. Now we're going to talk about making a triangle with his feet and my feet. And when I make the triangle and hop, my backside hand is going to pop his shoulder. I'm going to look over my right shoulder, and I'm going to go from whizzer to overhook. Just kind of pulling up on his armpit. And I'm just looking the whole way. Okay? I can't just hop and then sit on my butt and then try to execute. Everything's going to be off my left foot. So I'm going to hop into the triangle. I'm going to pop the shoulder. I'm going to pull up on his armpit, and I'm going to kick over the top. And then we're back in the same position we were just in. Okay? But I have to get my foot in front. I have to get up under his shoulder. And I have to lift and look over mine. So it's essentially like a lat drop. We're just not coming up under his arm. Okay? Because if he's right here and he feels this, he'll start kind of knowing what's going on. Which this isn't wrong. You can lat drop the guy from here. But all we're doing is maybe we're fighting head position a little bit. He fights back in. And I hop. Triangle, far arm, goes to his shoulder. I'm pulling up, kind of into me, and I'm looking over my wizard shoulder right here. So to hit it all at one time, hop, up, elevate through. Knees back up under me, wrestle through that position. Again, if you're not big on... Me and him started to compound together, and like he was a very systematical thinking coach. I wasn't. I'm a creative guy, I'm a dreamer, I'm a big picture off in the distance guy. He was very calculated to where he could watch technique, reverse engineer it, and then immediately know how to teach it to somebody and communicate it. I wasn't built that way. So being with him for 8-9 years, building a club before he went to UNI, like he helped condition my brain to be able to see technique and see position and be able to communicate how we actually get to those positions instead of just do it. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys have been probably around a coach or two that you're like, nah, just do it. Just grab the leg and do it. Right? And there's a lot more to it than just grabbing the leg and doing it. So with some of the stuff we've been learning, it's been a huge learning process for me to get to these positions and then be able to communicate it effectively to y'all on a level that y'all can digest. So when we talk about far ankle scrambling, this is the ticket that keeps me from getting scored on. Okay? I want you to really think about that in your brain. If you had like one get out of jail free card you could use almost every match to keep you from getting taken down, like you'd use it all the time, right? So far ankle scrambling, that's kind of the way I want you to think about it. And it doesn't matter if he's in on a double leg and he's got me on a hip and he's chasing and I'm circling right here. In some way I can get to far ankle. Okay? Now he should beat me here, right? He should beat me. But if I got his far ankle, he can't circle and cover my hips. Circle, cover my hips. And just get over my hips. Score takedown. Score takedown. Get there. Get there. Right. You see how I can already start building back up to this position. All because I attacked far ankle. If his far ankle is in my control, it's very tough for him to square and score on me. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you guys to think about. As long as I have his far ankle, he's not going to cover my legs and get to my body. All right, so we're going to start right hip to right hip. My hand, far hand, is going to go to his far ankle. His far hand is going to go to my far ankle. And the first drill, skills drill we're going to do is we're just going to get used to blocking with our outside knee and driving that guy down to a hip. So he's going to swing his knee outside mine, and he's going to drive, and he's going to put me on my hip. Okay? Now, when we get to push to our hip in a far ankle scramble or any scramble, don't be on your hip and your shoulder. Use that little kickstand right here. All right? Give him that kickstand. Now, as he drives me down, I'm going to pull his far ankle up. I'm going to recover, and I'm going to drive and block his knee and put him on the hip. He's going to build back up. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to drive into me. He's going to block me down to my hip. And what this does is this helps us create the reaction and the position and the muscle memory to recover when we have far ankle. Like I said, I don't care how bad I'm beat. If I can get to his far ankle, I got a fighting chance. That's my safety net. Do we got it? So that's all we're doing. We're driving into them, put them on a hip. They're driving back into us, putting us on a hip. Don't go to your hip and your shoulder. Get that kickstand up under, and then immediately build your knees back in. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Driving across. Another thing, when you have this far ankle, it's a nice little trick. All right? Two things. My elbow always needs to be in his butt. If my elbow's up on his back, he can sit back on his heels. Sit all the way back on his heels. See how it makes my chest go down when he sits back on his heels? Now if I got my elbow in his butt, sit back on your heels, can't sit back. Second thing, I like figure four in their legs right here. See how I just elbow in the butt, figure four, and then when I scoop that knee and put him on his hip, I'm in pretty good shape right here. Now I still got to clean my far ankle, but we'll talk about how to get rid of this. All right? But I like my chances right here when I put him on the hip. Questions? Elbow in the butt. You can figure four if you want to, but it's knee scoop, drive down, back and forth, back and forth. Go. I got his far ankle before, right? I just jam, slide, dive over the top. I got the far ankle. He just doesn't have mine, right? And I just showed you another one. He double legs me, right? I get head outside. If I beat his shoulder and get back to this far ankle right here, now he's got an arm across. But to me, if I got far ankle and he doesn't have mine, I'll beat him every time. He's not going to get my far ankle now. Look how stretched out he is. I just strap his foot to his butt. You know, the old school false cradles right here. Oh, I'm going to be living on false cradles. All right? But again, I'm getting the far ankle as quick as I can. So we're going to be a little unorthodox with this. My outside hand's popping the shoulder. Okay? You watch Chamizo wrestling. I know who Franklin Chamizo is. One guy in the whole doggone two. Are you lying? Are you lying? Where's he from?
Huh?
What country did he wrestle for?
Italy.
The wrong answer, but it's right. He's Cuban. But he's an Italy guy now. You're right, I'm just kidding. You watch Chamizo wrestle, he's in here all the time. Guys shoot high crotches, he's working back into them. We're going to pop the shoulder, but we're not going to attack back in. I'm going to pop the shoulder and swing, and I'm going to attack far ankle. Just so we got a simulation of getting to a far ankle. So I'm going to pop the shoulder, I'm going to swing down. See how his shoulder, I beat it with my hip, then I'm going to immediately attack far ankle. Right here. Now, he doesn't have my far ankle. If I got his and he doesn't have mine, man, it's a field day. Scoop. Notice my head and chest are staying up. I got him right here. This is almost just like our back out finish when we did our ankle ducks, right? And then I can change hands. Second thing about far ankle, once you get it, don't let go of it. Once you get it, don't let go of it, right? So, he's going to be in on high crotch. I'm going to pop the shoulder, and his whole method to his madness on his high crotch is keeping his shoulder in the pocket. So I can circle all day long. If he stays and keeps his shoulder in the pocket, I'm just in the same amount of trouble. So I'm going to pop and beat his shoulder. Everybody see I'm beating his shoulder? Pop the shoulder out of the pocket, and I'm going to squat, but I'm also going to circle right here. What are the two things I got to beat him to beat his takedown? Head and drive leg. Took care of both of them. Far ankle. Okay? Now I'm going to get my elbow engaged in the butt. Then I just start driving and collapsing right here. I keep my far ankle as far away from this guy as possible. Okay? Change. Start wrestling back towards his head. Okay? So simple. I'm going to pop the shoulder and shift, but I'm also going to circle down, coming over the top, far ankle. Elbow in the butt, knee scoop, driving down to a hip. Just finish that position. Just wrestle that line. I should win 1,000% of the time. Okay? As long as I'm not diving back into another scramble. So I got far ankle, he's got far ankle. Still saw some of this. Okay? Don't drape. Get that chest low. Alright? Outside hands are important. I'm driving and scooping. Now, as I drive and I put him on this hip, a lot of you guys are either dropping the foot altogether or just leaving it down by the mat. If he can start getting traction with his feet, he's going to start wrestling here. I'm bringing his heel to his butt. That's why I told you could figure 4 the legs, because it's going to lend itself to getting here real quick. And I'm pulling everything tight. Again, I want everything tight to my body. I want elbows close. So I get to this position, he's still got far ankle. All I'm going to do is rotate back to 90 degrees. Okay? And the same thing when we cleared our ankles, when we did ankle ducks and leg passes, same thing's happening right here. I'm going to attack the wrist. I'm going to bring my knee to the ceiling, kick it off. Now, with a far ankle scramble, I'm not big on turning towards the head unless I absolutely need it. Late in the match, or I got to pin the guy, or I got to get big points. Once I get this guy off my ankle right here, whether it's his right hand, left hand, whatever it is, I'm just going to bring my knee to my chest, kick the ceiling, throw it away, turn down towards his legs. Okay? I'm going to turn down towards his legs 1,000% of the time there. You never can go wrong turning towards the legs. It's when we beat him here, okay? And we get to this square position, notice my butt's off the mat, and I beat his hand right here, and I start turning towards his head, and he just disappears on me, okay? That's the turning towards the head that I'm talking about, that we get burned with. Can't go wrong with turning towards the legs, all right? Second finish, going elbow in the butt, scooping, driving across. Now, this second finish, a lot of times I'll get to this position, and he'll kind of pull my foot to his head to where I can't square up. See, I've got my hip kind of locked out right here. I can't square up. It's got my foot pulled towards my head. So I'm going to take my free hand, bend to my elbow. I'm going to attack his laces. My bottom knee is just going to scissor back up under my body. My knees are going to get wide here. It's just like our finish when we did our high crotch ankle roll. And he'll hang on to this ankle for a long time. He'll feel like he's really got it until he feels my hand get to his bottom shoulder right here. All right? And when I get to his bottom shoulder, it's a wrap. Okay, I just threaten him a little bit here and hustle around behind him. So we got 2 options there. Come on, run. When he pulls my foot super close to his face, I turn into him and get my knees wide. When I can square back up with him, kind of that forced roll position, that's when I just kick and dig, and then I'm back to chasing the legs. So elbow in the butt, scooping, picking that foot up, head's tall. All right, so first one, I can get square. Notice when I square up, I keep the foot with me. Okay, I just get my feet back in the mat, my butt off the mat. Attack the wrist, knee to chest, kick the ceiling. Like I said, if you have to have a fall and need to turn towards the head, then make sure you're getting to the position to where when you turn, you're actually going to be in a pinning position. If not, if you don't have to have the fall in that position, which we always need a fall, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Turn towards the legs and get your 2. Get your tank down right there. Now, spin 90 or 180. All right. So he's got far ankle, I got far ankle. I'm picking it up, figure 4, and I'm scooping, driving down. All right. Or maybe I got this position off the high crotch. Now he pulls my leg real close to his face, and I can't square. My hips are locked. I can't get my foot back to the mat. Okay. All I'm going to do is re-grip. Come and bend to the elbow. Just put my hand on the mat. I'm not grabbing it here. Okay, I'm trapping it to his butt, put my hand on the mat. My bottom knee, does everybody see my bottom knee? Finds his chin. Boom, right there. And I get wide and I get my chest up. And then I just start digging down here for bottom shoulder. He'll eventually let go. Now I get my takedown. Questions? So not super exciting, rolling around fancy stuff, but it's the best scramble defense you'll have. Best scramble defense, and we're just now getting into it. Go. A decent level of far ankle scrambling, right? And a lot of people are starting to understand that at least need to get to a far ankle, maybe not know how to execute a lot of positions from there. So I get to this far ankle position. I want you to think about taking your knee and sliding it in an angle under their laces. So I'm sliding I'm changing my angle right here as I'm swinging my knee back. Okay, I'm swinging my knee back, but I'm also carving it under his laces. And as I do, I'm going to pull his far ankle across, and I'm going to put this guy upside down. Now, once he starts to get upside down, I'm going to let go of the far ankle and punch him between his legs right here. Have we been here before? How did we get here before? Crunch. Sit splits, right? When we were splitting them on our low singles and our single legs, and we're just sitting up, splitting the legs. We're just creating this position from a different from a different starting point. So elbow in the butt. I got to get this swing though. I can't just roll sideways. It's not going to work. But what will happen a lot of times too is I don't have to pick this guy's ankle up all the way to his butt. I just need to get it off the mat. I need to get it that high off the mat. I don't have to pick it up. But a lot of guys, they'll try to pick your ankle up really, really high. Pick my ankle up and try to shift a lot of weight back to where my head's down. Okay? Now that doesn't mean they're going to win this position, right? But this reaction from him allows me to make this sit and split even better. So as he's starting to pick my foot up and I'm fighting this position right here and I swing and he's really pulling hard on that ankle, I'm immediately getting to this roll. Boom. But that's the part you're going to struggle with your timing. See right here? As I'm rolling and putting him on his back right here, I've got to let go. I've got to get my free arm in the block and split, and I've got to let go of the post. And at this point, we're back to where we were. Hand both hands in, knees wide, and I'll talk about this position. We're going to try to hold on the back there a little bit. Okay? All right, Ryan? So, it's a big outside knee swing. I'm trying to put my belt buckle on their hip, and I'm pulling this far ankle hard. Okay? So we're battling in here a little bit. Check it, I swing. Get my knee up under the laces. I'm pulling this foot, putting him upside down, post and split. Right here. Okay? Post with my hand that was on the far ankle, split with my opposite hand. And then I'm just coming up here to this position. Okay? Any questions? Control points. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to control him to his back flat on the mat, right? So we're getting to some of these positions in far ankle and scrambling and things like that, but we're splitting this guy this time, right? So we're taking this big knee swing and we're changing our direction of the way our hips are pointed, and then I start to get to this position and split. Now again, if this guy keeps fighting across, then I just float his head and lift and get back to my cradle again. Okay, we've been in that position before. If I just catch this guy straight up and split him, then I want you to focus on getting your knees wide and around their hips and getting your elbows down close to your knees. And catching them and holding them on their back, then we can start crawling up their body and looking for near fall. So I got this big knee swing right here. I'm pulling across. I post and split. Okay, and I start to get both arms in right here. Now, again, I'm looking for bottom shoulder. If he's turning to his right, I'm looking to cut bottom shoulder. What I'm also looking to do is try to get my knees on either side of his hips, and my opposite elbow is trapping down low. Okay, a lot of times we get in this position and we raise up. This guy's going to fish out and belly down and crawl forward and get out of this position. Even if we get a 2 count right here, okay? Even if we get a 2 count right here, bottom shoulder, knees are tight, he's wiggling and fighting away, and I'm just staying tight right here. Make that guy pay in every position you can get. Don't just get here and relax and this guy just flops off his back. Okay? So anytime we sit and split this guy, whether it's low single, and we can even kind of do it from a high crotch, it's a little risky, but I want to get compressed on my finish and work for back points. All right, we're not going to spend a ton of time there, but I want to spend about a minute and a half, 2 minutes getting to that split, clamping down, finding bottom shoulder. 50-50 situation. We both got far ankle. I got far ankle. He's got far ankle. And he's looking to kind of knee slide around the corner and beat me right here. All right? Now, he could continue to sit and beat the corner and things like that. When we get in these positions right here, we're going to post our head to the mat. I'm going to take my free foot, my inside toe, and all I'm going to do is pop up on my head and hop to the other side of his body. Right here. Hop to the other side of his body. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. Now, whether he keeps my ankle or not, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to get my knees back up under me and start wrestling into him. Okay? But again, for me, if he's circling, just circle on your knees. If he's circling and I'm circling, we'll do this forever, right? But as he goes to take that knee slide and take a big angle right here, if I can post my head to the mat, push off my free foot right here, and hop my body to the opposite side, I take that angle away big time. Okay? That's all I'm trying to do is post my head and hop to the opposite side. Now, the reason why we don't just do it normally when we're hip to hip is because he'll just stay in the way and I won't be able to hop. It's when he kind of disappears a little bit around behind me and I can hop over that side. Does that make sense to everybody? So I don't let go of far ankle. As he starts to beat this ankle a little bit, I just post my head to the mat, use my free toe right here that I'm driving off of, and I'm just trying to get my knees to the opposite side of his body. So he goes knee slide, steals the corner, post, hop right here. Okay? If I can keep this far ankle and drive back into him, great. But even if I lose the far ankle, man, I put myself in a pretty good position. So all we're doing is, I got far ankle with my right hand, I got my head to the mat, my inside toe is what pushes, because he's got my far ankle. My inside toe pops up, and I just hop to the opposite side of his body. I'm just spinning on my head a little bit. Okay? That's all I'm doing. Everybody? So, we got far ankles. Okay? He goes to knee slide and cut that big corner on me. I feel him kind of disappearing behind me. All I'm going to do is drop my head straight to the mat. Inside toe is going to pop my hips up, and I'm just going to jump to the other side of his body right here. Whoop, the other side of his body. If he doesn't turn and face me, send that man a Christmas card. Okay? My outside elbow.
And then Ryan, even Dean was telling me, first week up there, he grabbed Ryan. Since he was happy freshman, came in all excited, wrestling everybody really hard. So Gate grabbed him one day. My goal was to make him just quit. He said, for 45 minutes straight, he said, I was elbowing him in the back of the head, giving him knees. He's like, he held up though, he did all right. So, okay.
Our biggest mile here is just moving, going like, wins at the time.
Yeah.
And you'd see like my buddy's first match ever was Kim Champion. Pops out.
Now, gotta get my feet back up under me, my knees back up under me so I can wrestle. But the whole key is digging out behind that knee and setting this up. Joey Laser, who I got this from, he's All-American for UNI. One of our early days kids down in Georgia. Super Scramble guy. Right? A lot of stuff like I didn't even know how to teach him like back in the day. He just kind of made a lot of stuff up. Okay? Elbow, digging out.
But it was a weekend. We
All right, we still
were
got
actually down in Atlanta with
head on the mat. Free toe pushes up.
That's how I emailed, texted, tried to call the coach, and he never responded.
As I'm upside down, try to keep that wrist free. Then I'm back to over again, rest in that sit split position.
That's what I was thinking.
Now, in order to keep the wrist free, I don't want you to be upside down here trying to kick his arm. All I want you to do is have your foot on the side of your other leg, and then just kick straight down. Okay? Don't try to find
We did get
arm out
lucky,
here.
and
Just find your leg,
Thomas
kick
Moore
straight
being so
down.
close.
It'll come off.
25s.
Okay?
Looking for a place to practice, but their room is the rest was probably smaller than this. All the COVID stuff, they can only have like 4 guys in there at a time. So we're struggling for practice. So coach said, hey, can 25 come down and work out? Because they had a duel coming up. I was like, yeah, definitely. So we actually had a couple nights. We had a good 3-man group of Spencer, Thornton, and him.
Outside arm, I gotta clear out. See, I'm digging here and clearing out. Also, a lot of times, guys will step up here to try to get the hips up. Okay? There's a little trick we can do right here. This kind of falls like tilt right here, and then we can throw our leg in. You'll see a lot of guys kind of step up and try to get that position. Right? But in this case, I'm just clearing out. He's pulling up on my ankle. I'm driving out my free toe. I'm looking away.
Yeah.
This would be into him. I'm looking away. Kicking that wrist off. Looking back to get to my sit split position. Again, find your leg.
Would have been so
kick
big
straight
for us.
down. Don't try to find his arm when you're upside down. Questions? If I can see it again. Good. One more time.
Combination of just opportunities for
So I'm here, far ankle, get that elbow in the butt.
Yeah,
Clear out. Clear out this position. Good hips, roll through.
Head down there and do some training technique.
Sit split.